walk alone, because next time, I'll kill everyone.
Okay, so I'm here with Ray Khalastchi, who is an external producer on Beyond Two Souls, from the studio Quantic Dream, who of course brought us Heavy Rain. So you're an associate producer on that title.
Yes.
What have you found that's different working as a full producer on this one?
Responsibility. Right. Big responsibility. But also, I mean, you just get more involved and you get deeper into the characters and the design as well. So, you know, my responsibilities back then were slightly different, were very contained. Here it's like everything is my problem, basically.
Excellent. It's great to be that person, yeah. So I heard you mention earlier that it just sticks with the one character as opposed to Heavy Rain's 4 this time around. Is there anything else you can tell us story-wise about the game?
We're not revealing a lot about the story at the moment, but the main drive of the story is Jodie's connection with Aiden, who's some kind of entity. And throughout the story, you're basically trying to find out what Aiden actually is and why the two of them are connected. But that's all we're saying for now.
So just looking through at this and seeing all the button prompts, it's very Heavy Rain-ish as far as that sort of thing goes, and the same sort of very deliberate pace as well. So that was obviously something that you decided you wanted to push further?
Yeah, so we started with the Heavy Rain system and then we've evolved it. So in this case, the Heavy Rain system of just button prompts is augmented by actual directional control of Jodie. So when you're doing all the good stuff on the right stick and the buttons, the left stick you're actually controlling Jodie's movements, which is new.
Right, so a bit more player agency this time around.
Absolutely, yeah. But on top of that as well, when you're controlling Aiden, the entity, it's completely direct control. You are in total control of him, up, down, left, right. You know, it's all you. So it's much more core this time around in terms of the gameplay. This is actually a good example of that, because in Heavy Rain this would have been press R2 and she'd drive off. You know, you'd see the scene, but you wouldn't control it. Here, I'm actually controlling whether she's going left and right. I mean, we still, have a lot of work to do. It's pre-alpha software. We're deciding where you should have how much control and what the control should be, but it's much more aimed at full sort of gameplay control, more so than kind of being guided along, hand-holding.
And I take it, even though there's a reduced number of main characters, well, one main character, the story still diverges at points.
Absolutely. So your Jodie and my Jodie, by the end of the game, will be completely different characters. The decisions that you make will be different to mine, and your relationships that you create and that you foster throughout the game, they'll also have a fundamental effect on who she is. What happens to each character, who survives, that kind of jazz. Right. So yeah, it's very much about your choices, as always. That's very much one of our key cornerstones.
What was it like working with Ellen Page, and was this all motion captured, or what was her role?
So for Heavy Rain, the studio at Quantic Dream, they had 28 cameras, motion capture cameras. This time around they've upgraded and we've now got 64 cameras. The technology they're using for this is akin to what was used on Avatar. So it's pretty hardcore stuff. It's a whole other level, right? So what those cameras allow us to do is to do what we call full performance capture. So rather than separately capturing the face and the voice and then the body, stitching them together and getting a good result but not a perfect result, we can now capture the face, the body and the voice all in one shot with multiple characters, multiple actors, I should say, on the stage all at once. So it's a lot more data, it's a lot more, a lot more going on, but you get a much more precise and accurate result. The fidelity of the performance and what we're able to render as well, it's all been majorly upgraded, and that's what you see here, basically.
Yeah, the game looks incredibly realistic, especially as far as character movements go. There's nothing looks awkward. You don't kind of get the robot running sort of thing. So you're doing something right with that technology. Do you think that's something that will be licensed to perhaps other studios later on? Is this going to be the future of gaming, this motion capture thing? Yeah.
That's not really up to me, so I can't really talk about it.
Make a bold prediction. Do you think in 5 years' time this will be commonplace?
I think it allows you to do certain special things, and a lot of games are pushing for that kind of Hollywood vibe, you know? High production values are really important these days. When you're trying to get people to put down 50, 60 quid on a game, you know, you need to put out something special. So if you are going to put down a AAA game, you need to do something a bit more. You need to push it. You need to push the envelope. So I think that's what we're trying to do here. And yeah, I think other studios will be doing that soon. Yeah.
So all these chaps here motion captured as well?
Absolutely, yeah. Everything you see, all motion captured. So they actually, for example, for these SWAT guys, we got in like a SWAT, an ex-SWAT, I guess, officer, commander maybe, who was able to
Did you tell him that he was going to be rolling on the ground on fire?
he was able to explain and sort of advise how the SWAT would go. It would burst into a room, how they're on their formations, how they hold the guns, everything like that. So we really strive for realism, and we have the manpower and the actors and the technology to really put it onto screen. In this scene, the SWAT team are basically getting closer, closing in on her, and you're protecting Jodie as Aiden. So as time goes on, the cord between Aiden and Jodie, it's only a finite length, so you can only reach certain characters, certain enemies. But as time goes on, they get closer, and all of a sudden new things open up. So I'll be able to get to the helicopter, for example, now, which I wasn't able to do before.
So, is this an alpha build we were looking at? Did I hear that mentioned?
Pre-alpha.
Oh, this is pre-alpha.
Yes.
So, how far away do you think the game is?
Well, the game is supposed to be, it's due for release Q1 next year. So that's when it's coming out.
Right on.